Welcome. Nope.
My bad.
I am still bleeding. This will not stop bleeding.
Solid start. I'm making noises of an 80-year-old, and you're like, still bleeding.
It's literally like pouring out of my head.
Chris Hansen here, and I'm going to need you all to take a seat right over there and check out Birds versus Boys.
I think you're completely right here, and I hate it.
Yep. Hey, idiots. Stop doing dumb things. I got 2 phones. Upside alert. Upside alert. I might go insane.
I think you're already there. There's no hope. Hope is gone.
If this was an AFC North podcast, we'd be done in 15 minutes.
Bob Hope.
I'm going to drink bleach.
That is
the team you promised me you were going to be this year.
This is the Consciously Hopeful podcast.
I'll be watching.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 110 of Birds vs. Boys. If you're watching on YouTube, my head is bleeding, and I have toilet paper on my head because it won't stop bleeding. I am having a wonderful night, but not as good as Aidan is having as we're recording. Aidan is on cloud 9 for reasons we won't discuss tonight, but he expects his best show in the 110 episode life of Birds versus Boys. The crazy offseason has hit again, Aidan. But before we get into all that and our draft talk and the show, we do not have a guest tonight, so we're not going to bury the lead on that. But how are you?
I'm on cloud 9, like you said. You can't top the. I am personally guaranteeing my greatest show of all time. I'm in the moment with the meme where they're like, no team has ever come back from 3-1, and it's LeBron just smirking. That is the mode that I'm in for tonight's show. I have never been in a better mood in my entire life. That I've had a storm cloud over me my entire life, and it's just a thunderstorm at all times in my brain. It's cleared up. It's
sunny skies are here.
Storm.
The sun will come out tomorrow. That's finally happening to you.
After 27 years, the sun has come out.
It is tomorrow. All right. I don't know where you want to start because the funny thing, there's one kind of glaring topic here that's Eagles related that we're going to get to, but besides the Cowboys being non-compliant, I guess you could say, with the offseason, and Jerry Jones now suing the girl that says he's his father, like there's nothing going on with our two teams, but the rest of the NFL is just exploding.
Yeah, I think non-existent is the right word.
Yeah.
Although, I mean, we made some moves. Like we did some stuff. All right.
I did like the linebacker.
Because you're what? Yeah. I'm very excited for that. And he meets all 2 requirements I have for a good linebacker. 1, he's not Alex Singleton. 2, he's not Nate Gary.
There you go.
So he's good in my book.
3, he's coming from our favorite team.
Correct. The Chargers, which I think
even though their defense.
I was just saying, he's one of the few bright spots on that defense. I can't, if he brings that identity that they had last year, it's like 3rd and 12, just one more stop and you're off the field. Okay, you gave up 17 yards. If he brings that, I will die. But let's start here. By the time you're listening to this, it could be April.
Yes.
April means one thing and one thing only in the NFL. The
baseball
NFL
season?
No. Baseball. Listen, April baseball. I'm excited for the Phillies, but let's not pretend. We know what the main show is. End of April, NFL draft, which means from now for the next month, Kevin and I are going to be talking a lot of draft. It's going to start tonight, and this is just the appetizer. This is the Olive Garden breadsticks.
Keep them coming.
Keep them coming. It starts right now. You're getting your appetizer, and it's going to keep going, and we're going to get your entree. We're actually going to do a separate YouTube video where Kevin and I are going to do a mock draft for our respective teams. So we're going to do a 4-round mock draft. We're going to draft our guys. We'll have the mock draft up on the screen. You'll hear us give our reasoning for our picks, the players that we like, breaking it down. And then back by popular demand based on the YouTube views, we will be doing some prospect breakdowns. Again, it worked out very well for us where we're drafting in the same range. So a lot of these guys, both of our teams are going to be looking at. And then obviously with the Eagles, we got 3 picks. So there's a lot of people to get to. That's what's on tap for the next month.
Yeah, I think we're definitely going to be breaking down some wide receivers in this class. I would say some offensive linemen, defensive linemen, linebackers, cornerbacks, safety.
There's
Probably
not
everything.
many positions off the board.
Maybe running back. You guys might. We actually both might take a running back late in the draft.
I was about to say there's one I'm going to get to in my mock draft. I just hope he's there in round 3 or 4.
Okay.
I have a big running back take that is
Kyron Williams, Notre Dame.
No, I do like him, but no, that's not who it is. Good guess. He is good.
All right. Oh,
Listen,
I'm excited for that.
If there's a guy from Notre Dame that I want, I think we all know who it is.
Michael Meyer. Well, he's not in this draft.
Oh, yeah. Wait, he's not in this draft?
No, he was a freshman last year. He's only a sophomore. He was only a sophomore.
Oh my God. The fact that they call him Baby Gronk and he's not even draft eligible yet is scary.
Yeah. And
wow.
He's going to be like good next year.
Yes.
Very excited.
Listen, if we keep Jalen Hurts, since he can't pass it further than 6 yards, I'm all for just having Goddard and Mike Meyer on the same team.
Oh my God. So yeah, really looking forward to the Birds vs. Boys mock draft 1.0 that you'll be able to get on our YouTube channel. Draft season it's our, I guess, I don't want to say it's our first love because I think the NFL season and that's our real, but it's like 1A.
You know what? Can we brag for a second? On TikTok, I've been getting a lot of draft prospect breakdowns, and it is a very clear reading bullet point facts about prospects. They ran a 4.45 in the 40. Their cone jump was this. This might not be like like you said, we love the draft, but the season itself is obviously like the bread and butter. I don't know why I keep making bread analogies tonight.
Yeah,
but like when we talk about prospects, we're giving you why. You know, we're giving you a little bit more than just he ran a 4.4.
How his game equates to the NFL level. We even put teams we think that the player would fit most and why.
This is math class. You can't just give the number. You have to explain how you got to the number. Why does the math work? That's what you're getting here, which is ironic because I suck at math. But you're going to get a little bit more than this guy at his pro day ran a 4.45. No. This is why this prospect is good. This is what my eyeballs are telling me. This is why he would fit with the Eagles or the Cowboys or would not fit with the Eagles or Cowboys.
He added 2 inches on his broad jump on his pro day from the combine.
Dude, I was watching one today and I was like, there's no way. Like, and it went viral. Like, it was up on my For You page. And I was like, oh my God. Like, I can almost see the bullet point reflections in the screen.
Oh God.
So I promise, like you said, the season is the season, but this is something special for us. Draft
yes, 100%. And speaking of TikTok, shout out to all of our big time Derek Carr fans in the audience from our TikTok, especially. It is unbelievable how it just blows my mind.
The best is when you watch it back. I can't contain myself, but I laugh both times that you guys both say Derek Carr. And none of them caught on to like the fact that like I immediately start laughing when you guys both say Carr. I could not help myself twice and knew it was coming.
They never get it. You guys suck. I love when we do TikToks and they're like, this list is trash. And I'm like, I just write back. I'm like, what's your list? And there's like one name that's different.
Yeah. And sometimes there's no names that different. Yeah. They just flip the names. Like, wait a second, you're agreeing with me.
Arguing with 12-year-olds is fun.
Yes. Speaking of that, so tonight we are going to rank the NFC East quarterbacks. Obviously, that hit home for us. And Colin Cowherd went viral on Twitter this past week, ranking the quarterbacks in the NFC East because he had a few hot takes. So we're going to do it ourselves and see how we compare and contrast with him. I'm sure we will ruffle absolutely no feathers among the 4 teams in the NFC East with that one.
I wish Derek Carr was in the division.
There was a time where they thought he was going to get traded, and then they didn't trade him and just got his best friend and who's the best receiver in the league. So that kind of works out.
Speaking of not getting traded now, this whole Jimmy G thing is wild. He got the surgery, and that kind of really fucked the 49ers. And now they're like, well, we might just keep him.
He and Baker Mayfield are on the Ben Simmons trajectory where they're just going to float out in purgatory. And they're like, well, he's on the team, technically, and that's about it. Like, technically, he's on the roster. Are you going to see him? Probably not.
But if you're Trey Lance, like I'm like, get this dude out of here.
Yeah. Well, it's just like everybody knew. That's the problem, is everyone in the league knows. Everyone in the league knew from the minute that you traded up, not even drafted Trey Lance, but traded up to draft Trey Lance, that it was a bridge from Jimmy G to Trey. So they're not going to offer you much compensation or compensation at all, which is what Kyle Shanahan said this week at the owners' meetings, is that everybody knows you're just trying to get rid of this guy, and it's over.
I love that John Lynch was like, yeah, I've already got an offer of 2 twos. I mean, that was clearly a lie.
Yeah. And then his own coach this week was like, yeah, we have not gotten anything.
It
was Shanahan, right? Or was it Lynch?
Yeah.
They said, yeah,
I think it was Shanahan, because Lynch was the one that said he already had an offer on the table.
Yes. Yeah. And it's a lie.
If I'm the Panthers, like I'll be like, I'll give you a 5th.
Yeah. Did you see, though? Here's the problem. I did not know this. Shout out to our girl Smalls, who was on this past week. She came up on my TikTok and she had it. And she said the team to look out for drafting quarterback in the first round is the Panthers, because they don't have a draft pick from their next draft pick is in the 4th round. Oof. So they have the first round pick and then nothing to the 4th round. How's that even happen? They're not even
Who have they traded for?
It wasn't Sam Darnold, right? Like,
I don't know what they gave up for him. I mean, that's the only, because they didn't trade for Robbie Anderson, right? He was a free agent signing.
Yeah, and like,
Stephon Gilmore, and I don't know what they gave up something for him, and they also gave up something for Henderson, the cornerback from Jacksonville. I don't know what they gave up, but they gave up for both.
I could have sworn they gave up like bargain bin buys. Let me look up. I thought the Stephon Gilmore thing was like a 6th round pick, but yeah, they don't have a draft pick until the 4th round. But you're right. Like that would be a team otherwise that should absolutely be in,
because besides them, I don't think the Niners want to send Jimmy G to Seattle, because that would just be embarrassing to all hell if he beats them twice a year.
It would, but remember when the Eagles traded?
Yeah, oh yeah,
they traded Donovan to the Washington. Yep. Can you say Redskins if they were Redskins at the time, Vince?
I mean, you should. They were.
I think that's allowed.
You can't. I mean, history happened.
Yeah.
So they weren't the Commanders back then.
No.
But like the Texans, I don't really see him there. There's not.
They like Davis Mills.
They do. They say that they're going to build around him. So, yeah, I said this last week on the show, and then it kind of came out this week that, if the Browns are almost expecting Deshaun Watson possibly to get suspended and then Baker could start, I mean, that's just going to cause all sorts of drama.
They almost have to hang on to him now as an insurance policy. Like this was like the most obvious thing. It's like you saw that video of the Tesla when they tried to jump that thing. Yeah. And you're like, this ends in a crash. Like, there's no other way. Like, when he was driving up the hill, you were like, he's just going to fly over and cause a crash, which is immediately what happened. When they traded for Deshaun Watson, like, that was the most obvious thing that then everyone's going to be like, oh, yeah, haven't heard about him. Forgot he was a huge scumbag.
Yep. And Baker Mayfield's here.
Now, he's probably going to get suspended. You just gave up everything for him. So they almost have to hang on to Mayfield now.
And Roger Goodell's out there like, we're going to try and gather all the facts before anything happens, blah, 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 blah. So we'll see what happens on that front. But yeah, I don't know where either of these guys are going to land. One of them is going to land somewhere, and I hate saying this, but when a big quarterback goes down, whether it's in training camp or early in the season.
Oh, yeah. And I think also nothing will happen between now and the draft, I don't think. Like, you got to see, I just feel like Kenny Pickett is going to the Panthers. I don't know why. I just feel like it. But if he doesn't, like if the Panthers don't get Malik Willis or Kenny Pickett, or they're not sold on those guys, I feel like they have a bridge quarterback in Jimmy G or Baker. Although they had the mutual disinterest in Baker, which is hilarious. I think they could definitely end up with Jimmy G for a year, and then they're like right back in the quarterback sweepstakes next year.
If I'm a team that's a quote unquote contender and my quarterback goes down, I'm 100% want Jimmy G before Baker Mayfield.
I was going to ask you that because I totally agree. Like, I'm not a huge Jimmy G supporter, but the people who think he sucks, like, he doesn't suck. Like, he's not bad.
Yeah.
They've made playoff runs with him. And yes, part of that is the offense that he's in with Kyle Shanahan and the weapons he has around him. But if you're a contender, I'm assuming you have something in place, you know?
He hits Emmanuel Sanders in the Super Bowl. They win that game.
Yeah.
He's a Super Bowl champ.
Super Bowl appearance, NFC Championship appearance 2 times in 3 years, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Not bad.
Well, just goes toe-to-toe with Aaron Rodgers and beats him in the snow in Lambeau.
No, yeah.
It's just
very funny moment, by the way.
Just this whole offseason, it's just, we always say, like, our brains have to adjust. Our brains are going to have to adjust so much at the beginning of the season, seeing the amount of like Adams in the Raiders and now Tyreek Hill in Miami. It's like Russell. We should do it. We should do a TikTok this offseason of like top 5 guys. It's going to be the hardest to like adapt to them being on a different team. Like Russell Wilson for the Broncos. I'm like it looks good, but
I mean, yeah, he's going to look good in that orange jersey. No, pause, but I do think like he's going to look like he belongs in that orange jersey, but I haven't seen him. He's been in that Seahawks jersey for 10 years. It's going to be wild. You're right. This happens in the NBA all the time where it's like free agency is almost more important than the season is. And there's just so many moving parts, but the NFL is now trending that way too.
It is. Except the NFL is also trending towards, the salary cap isn't a real thing except for teams like the Cowboys.
Yeah. Well, listen, I think there's twofold to that. I think bad teams spend a lot of money. Good teams are at the cap limit and like find ways because they have so many good players. Like the Rams, there's a reason the Rams are at it. It's like, yeah, you drafted Aaron Donald. Mm-hmm. He commands a lot of money. And then you traded for Jalen Ramsey. He commands a lot of money. Stuff like that. That like the Dolphins giving that much money to Tyreek Hill probably going to backfire.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I see him like, I don't know. He's in Miami now. He's home. He's got his Super Bowl rings.
Mm-hmm. Highest paid player. I feel like I'm a lot higher on Jalen Waddle on that team. Let's just put it that way. So I think the Chiefs, just getting into like a little bit of draft talk, they have 12 picks, the most of any team.
Yep.
They have 2 first-round picks back-to-back at 29 and 30. They could probably flip that into even more picks if they wanted to with somebody trying to trade back up into the first round. When you give your quarterback $500 million, that is how you should run your franchise.
100%.
You should be working the margins, 12 picks. They're going to have so much depth in terms of they're going to find some defensive tackle in the 3rd round and be like, oh, this guy's a stud.
Yep.
And we're like, wow. Yep. That's why they did what they did.
They're going to add 2 wide receivers like a Byron Pringle, and they're just going to fit them in that offense.
You can see what's about to happen. Jameson Williams tore his ACL, Alabama wide receiver, would have never been on the board at 29 or 30 if he wouldn't have gotten hurt. He'll be there and he'll be on the Chiefs, and you'll be like, wait a second, how did we let that happen?
Yep. Same thing as the CeeDee Lamb thing to Dallas. The NFL is like, wait, what?
I was just about to say, I want the Eagles to be a part of that. How did we let this happen thing?
I mean, you got 3 chances at it.
I know. Well, I'm hoping Kyle Hamilton, depending on who you talk to, he's either the best prospect in the draft or he falls into the teens. I don't understand what's going on there.
It's kind of like Stingley too from LSU, the cornerback. But he's either the best cornerback or he's got more question marks than Kyle Hamilton.
Yeah, you're right. But it is like similar concept where you're like, I thought this guy was going in the top 5. Why are you mocking him at 24?
Yeah, like if he's there at 24 for Dallas, Stingley, I'm like,
yes.
I mean, right? Yeah. You put him opposite Trayvon Diggs and you throw Boss Man Fat in there, all of a sudden it's like the ceiling is so high.
Yeah. And I don't know if you saw, but Andrew Booth from Clemson got hurt.
Yes.
He was actually did a surgery in Philadelphia.
Hernia, right?
Ready by
camp.
Hernia. Yeah, hernia. But anytime a guy has off-season surgery, there's a red flag. So with him getting hurt, I feel like that bumps Stingley back up.
Yes.
So I don't know.
Agree.
But yeah, you're right. It's just like, wait a second. Is this guy going to be gone 10 picks before I pick, or is he just going to be sitting there?
Yep.
That's how I feel about Kyle Hamilton. Right now.
And that was almost like last year with Kyle Pitts. I was like, Cowboys fans were talking ourselves into that he was going to be there at 10. And then we're like, all right, that he's not going to be one of those guys.
Which, looking back, taking a tight end at 4 and then giving up on your franchise quarterback a year later, in a draft where they were like, oh yeah, there's like 5 franchise quarterbacks. I don't know, probably a mistake. Like
I'd give them 2 2s right now for him.
oh yeah, whoa, 100%.
Would you give up a first? Would you give up 19 for him?
Yeah,
Would you?
yeah. There's so many guys where I'd give up a first because then I'm not without a first.
Yeah.
Like DK Metcalf, I'd give up a first.
Yep.
Guess what? I have another first.
Yep.
It solves one of my problems, and I can still draft and solve 2 other problems.
Mm-hmm.
It's very nice.
It is. It's a fun problem to have.
Without a doubt. One guy, because we've been talking about Kyle Hamilton. I want to get your opinion on this person. I've been thinking about this guy today. Tyrann Mathieu. I was thinking about the safety position. Eagles need a safety. I just can't see him in the Eagles green. He's just not a guy that the Eagles get, like a big high name value like that. I can see him on the Cowboys. What do you think?
I would love to see him on the Cowboys. I don't think it's going to happen because the Cowboys have not signed an outside free agent for over $6.5–7 million a year since Brandon Carr got $50 million. This is a reason why Bobby Wagner's not there, because he apparently wants a 1-year, $11 million deal, and they're like, that's just not going to happen. But could I see him there? Oh my God, please! If you put him and Malik Hooker on the back end, you signed Jaron Kearse already. He can play box safety with Jabril Cox, playing linebacker with Micah and LVE. I mean, yes, he would bring another Jaron Kearse, Micah Parsons type of like attitude switch to that defense that I feel like they still need another one.
Yeah, I was about to say the attitude switch. That is the most important part. And for a defense like the Cowboys, who was so reliant, and that sounds like it's a diss, but it's not. Just like reliant on turnovers.
Yes.
To get somebody like that. There's been so many defenses where they have a great season with turnovers, and then the luck kind of flips the other way. Then all of a sudden there's a lot of issues. Well, the one way to fix that and just kind of absolve yourself from being stuck in that situation, if you're the Cowboys, get Tyrann Mathieu, ball hawk, forces turnovers all the time.
Because Diggs is not going to have 11 interceptions again this year.
Exactly.
It's not going to happen.
Law of averages tells you he's probably not having 11 interceptions.
You have 3.
So what good way to offset that? Go get Tyrann Mathieu. You'll have 4 forced fumbles.
It's crazy that he's still. I mean, he's down there at LSU right now with Brian Kelly, doing all the. He was there for the week with the team. But I just how old is he? I don't even. Let me see.
Remember when he got kicked out of college for smoking weed?
Yes,
and
everyone was like, he's such a bad person.
Yeah, what a criminal. Now it's like legal in almost every state.
We share a birthday. I didn't know that.
Do we?
May 13th, 1992. I was born May 13th, 1987.
1992. So he's what, 29?
29.
Yeah. He'll be 30?
Yeah. He'll be 30 this May.
Wow. We're getting old. I remember him in college. He was in the Heisman voting as a defensive player, like a cornerback, because he just like forced a fumble every other drive.
I don't understand why he's still out there, but
I think he's, like his value is his value. He's probably overvaluing himself a little bit, but he's also earned the time to just be like, you know what, I'll sit back and wait. Because I don't think the market is going to change for him. Like, I don't think people are going to move on and be like, you know what, I don't want Tyrann Mathieu anymore.
If
he has time to make the decision.
If he ends up like on the Giants or the Commanders, I'd be so mad.
That could happen.
Because the Commanders lost
Landon Collins.
Yeah. And the Giants got rid of Jabril Cox.
Oh, yeah.
Who signed with New England.
I forgot that happened.
Mm-hmm. So,
to be honest. Yeah.
So
he, honestly, all 4 teams in the NFC should be in.
Yes, should be in on him. 100%.
Without a doubt.
100%. And there's still 64 offensive linemen out of the 105 free agents out there available. So, like, Dallas.
It's not even that much money to do it.
I'll take Eric Flowers right now because he's been a good guard. No, he's been a good guard, left guard. I will absolutely play him at left guard over what we saw last year in Connor McGovern.
That's true.
I
can't believe there's that many offensive linemen available.
Brian Bulaga is still out there.
That's going to be another position. It's like, all right, we're going to go through the draft, see what we get. And then after that, there's going to be a flurry of offensive linemen signing before training camp, without a doubt.
100%.
Without a doubt. Let's stick with safety real quick, but shift gears.
Yep.
Eagles, Malcom Jenkins announced on Ryan Clark's show that he is retiring after 13 seasons, 2 Super Bowl wins. Thank you for the retweet, Malcom Jenkins, by the way. That was
shout out.
Awesome. I was so excited because I looked and I was like, oh, did he just retweet everyone who did? No. We're the only fan page that he did. So that is awesome. I was very
excited.
Shout out
to you on that.
I carefully scripted that paragraph, so I'm glad that my work was seen and done.
That's the best feeling, when you actually put effort into a tweet and it's recognized.
Yes.
Such a good feeling.
I know. And when you press it and you're like, this'll do all right.
Yeah.
And you're like, all right. And I didn't expect him to retweet it, but I was like, yeah, this I like what I said.
Yes.
I loved him. So
I hated him, but loved him, but respected him. It's the same kind of like Brian Dawkins thing.
Exactly. That's what I was going to say. It's like the same thing, but Dawkins was when I was like 10.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you have an appreciation the same way you have an appreciation for like AI in the city, because you grew up on it and you knew like the impact that they had on the team. But like when you're 10, you don't understand X's and O's. Like you don't understand what's really going on in a football game. At my age, like I fully understood the impact and importance of Malcom Jenkins on that team.
And not just the on the field impact, the leadership impact that he brought, and the leadership impact that was immediately you saw lacking when he left and went back to New Orleans.
Without a doubt. That's what I was trying to think like the best way to describe Malcom in terms of like Eagles lore, like retiring jerseys and stuff like that. And I don't know if he was here long enough to like get the jersey retirement, but he's definitely like an Eagles legend. And I think the best way to describe him is, we talked about Dawkins. I think Reggie White's probably the best defensive player that the Eagles ever had. Don't think that's arguable. Brian Dawkins was the best safety that the Eagles ever had. But Malcom Jenkins, you can make the argument, was the most reliable Eagles defensive player of all time. Dave Zangaro put it out today. Of all the eligible snaps for him, he played 98.7% of them. He missed about 1% of the snaps in his entire time here. And while he had those snaps, he was productive. He was a leader on and off the field, like you mentioned. Team captain, Super Bowl champion, made underrated plays in the Super Bowl, including that hit on Brandon Cooks at the end of the game of the Hail Mary. Who was covering Gronk? It was Malcom Jenkins. He was calling out what to do. He was big and just like calling the defenses out and everything like that, and just being the captain of the back of the defense. So Reggie White, best defensive player of all time for the Eagles. Best safety, Brian Dawkins. But the most reliable player to ever play for the Eagles, Malcom Jenkins.
How about wasn't it him after Brady missed the pass in the Super Bowl where Jenkins like ran over and smacked him on the ass?
Yeah, he's like, come on,
the sideline. Yeah. Like he's just that guy. Did he ever miss a game in Philly?
He did not. He missed one game. The only game he ever missed with New Orleans was because of COVID. Wasn't even injury.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. And I believe in his final season in Philadelphia, he played with a broken hand or a torn ligament in his hand, and he had surgery afterwards. But he played the entire time, did not miss a single snap. Not only played defense, but also played everything on special teams too.
Now, remind me, if you remember, when he was a free agent leaving New Orleans and came to Philly, who was the other safety that was like there was another big time safety, and people were like almost trashing the Malcom Jenkins signing. Like, because I think the other safety was still available.
Yes. Oh, man, that is a great trivia question. I know exactly the scenario you're talking about. There was like a big name safety that everybody wanted, and they went with Malcom Jenkins instead.
And I remember like the uproar. I almost even remember a little bit as a Cowboys fan being happy in the moment that they signed Malcom Jenkins and not. Hold on,
you got to find it. Yeah,
you have to.
I remember the Malcom Jenkins signing and be like, yeah, that's good. Like I liked him. I would always I remember my first thought, I was like, Oh, he's got that like brand on his arm from the
Yes.
the
Yeah.
fraternity.
Yep.
And I was like, that was my first thought. And I was like, oh, I like him. But you're right. There's like another safety. And everyone's like, why didn't you just go get him? Well, 6 years later, a Super Bowl championship and a lot of wins, you realize why they got Malcom Jenkins.
And they signed him. What year did they sign him?
I believe it was 2013. We could probably look it up. Malcom Jenkins signs with Eagles. And just see when that happened. If you're wondering, I can't spell. So now I got his zodiac sign.
Yeah, it's
Sagittarius.
They got him in 2014.
Eagles signed Malcom Jenkins,
Jarius
grading
Byrd
the move and
just
what
to
it
save you
means for
time.
Philadelphia.
Jarius Byrd.
Yeah, that's what I'm seeing.
Oh, wait, this is a great paragraph. You ready for the complete 180 that is done in Malcom Jenkins' career? This is not a Philadelphia thing. This is just like a national media thing. But unless the Eagles plan on complementing that move, speaking of the Jenkins signing, with another major acquisition at safety, fans have reason to be disappointed. Jenkins is barely a starting caliber player. He's an upgrade over Nate Allen, who hasn't been re-signed, or Patrick Chung, who was released on Tuesday. But safety is one spot at which the Eagles had to spend some cash in order to make a splash, and that just didn't happen.
How about that?
Unbelievable. And
Yeah,
they got him at the start of his prime. He was 26 when they got him in 2013. Wow.
Ed Reed was a free agent that year. Quentin Michael, Brandon Mayweather.
It was Jarius Byrd.
Yeah, it was Jarius Byrd.
Which I don't even know where he is.
He can't be in the league, so.
I don't think so. But wow, that is just unreal to look back and that wasn't just Eagles fans. Like that was just like a national media thing that I had. During his time, 515 tackles, 32 for loss, 58 defended passes, 12 forced fumbles, 6 fumble recoveries, 11 interceptions, 4 return for touchdowns, and 5.5 sacks.
Shout out to an unbelievable career.
Unbelievable. And yeah, nearly 100% of the defensive snaps. Wow.
And I respected his decision to go back to New Orleans when he did.
Yeah. So, I mean, he wanted to stay in Philadelphia.
Yes.
He still has a home in Philadelphia. He's very active in the community. He's very active in political elections. He votes, not votes, but gives his, what's that like recommendation for certain candidates?
His
stamp of approval.
Yeah. His
pretty much. I know there's a fancy word in the political world for it, but he's very active here.
I forget the word.
And he was just like
endorsement.
Yes. And he did not get the endorsement from Howie Roseman that summer.
Yes.
And he was like, I'm leaving. And there was some chatter like he was like, I'm leaving.
And I feel like fans didn't blame him for that.
No, we were like, I wanted him to get his money, but it was just like coming off of getting spurned by the Alshon Jeffrey thing.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know.
Yep.
I wish he could have ended his career in Eagle, and he was always productive. So I loved him, and I feel like I didn't truly get to appreciate the Brian Dawkins experience because I was too young to understand X's and O's and strategy in football, but I could at least appreciate the 6 years I got from Malcom. So thank you so much, Malcom Jenkins, for a Super Bowl. You were a large part of it and one of the greatest leaders the city has ever seen.
And the reason I have this stupid banner on my wall.
Yeah. We had the breaking the fourth wall for the 3rd straight week. We had Emma Rose, special guest on the show earlier. She pointed at the Cowboys banner. We got a lot of work to do.
Vince, can you please clip that for me later? I'm going to need that as a clip. She did. She pointed it. She pointed. We all saw it.
We all saw it.
Yeah, if I don't know. I'm just so perturbed about this Cowboys offseason. I don't even want to talk about them. I don't even want to talk about them.
Do you want me to say mean things about Jim Irsay instead?
Sure.
Let you think about it?
I think what Jim Irsay said was hilarious, but
it's just listen, it's all fun. It's like the Will Smith thing. Yeah, it's all fun and games, but could be a little mentally not there. And we know Jim Irsay is a pill addict and a drunk who doesn't know football. We expect him to know good quarterback play and trust that he knows good quarterback play. The state of Indiana wouldn't even trust him to drive a car. And you're telling me that this guy knows football. They interviewed him at the owners meeting, and pretty much said he blamed everything on Carson Wentz because he's an idiot who knows nothing. Here's the thought. He was mad that they didn't beat the Jaguars and blamed it all on Wentz. I guess it was Wentz's fault that they haven't won in Jacksonville since 2014 before Carson Wentz was even in the league.
Yes, that is a big issue. But, I mean, Carson had what, like a 3 as his QBR in that game?
How about the game against the Ravens when they had 500 total yards of offense? Carson threw for 400 yards, and they lost the game because the defense gave up a touchdown on the last 6 possessions of the game.
Yeah, that happened.
Carson Wentz's fault then, Jim Irsay?
I mean, Carson stinks, but
No. The scapegoating of Carson Wentz is so out of control. And this is what it is. He was never Irsay's guy. Frank Reich and Chris Ballard liked Carson Wentz, so they brought him in, and he was on a short leash to begin with because the owner never liked him. And it's very annoying when your owner overplays his hand and has too much pull on it because you can end up making a mistake. And that's what this situation is. Irsay never liked him, and when they didn't win at the end of the season, it gave him a reason to get rid of him. I think the whole vaccine thing.
Oh, yeah.
I really think that Irsay, and he said it during the season multiple times, that he was very upset that Carson Wentz wasn't vaccinated. I'm sorry. I thought it was my body, my choice. We're just going to trade a guy because he's not vaccinated here in Tucker Carlson's America. We're going to let this happen.
Cowboys did it too. I think that was a big issue with the Amari Cooper issue. Jerry Jones was not happy that Cooper missed those 2 games.
It is annoying. Like, you just got to be reliability in the NFL is just so
it's everything.
Yeah, exactly. So, if you have guys who aren't vaccinated this past season and they miss time or they miss games, like, I totally get that. That's annoying. But again, I'm like half joking, but I'm not. Like, you're creating a scapegoat. And when Carson got there, everyone was like, they could, like, if he was like 2019 Carson,
yep,
you could be good. And he was 2019 Carson. He wasn't an MVP candidate, but he wasn't bad. He wasn't 2020 Carson.
Yeah, he just
had a lot more problems than they thought going into that season. So scapegoat him all you want. Your offensive line wasn't as good. We'll see what happens with Matt Ryan, and the defense wasn't as good as you thought. So we'll see.
I think he's going to get buried in Washington.
Like physically or just like
physically?
Oh, well, at FedEx Field, that's kind of the whole shtick there for quarterbacks.
Yeah, not good. Not good. I'm very interested to see his first reception coming back to Philly in a Commanders jersey now.
He could always pretend he has a back injury that he's working back from and not play in the game. Seems to work for some other people.
Never heard of that before.
Yeah. Or just like if you get fined for missing like practices or games, just have your agent say that you have mental health issues.
He hasn't played a game yet for Brooklyn, right?
Nope.
It's just unbelievable.
But I think he'll obviously get booed into oblivion. You have to make that the first game of the season, right? They always played the first game of the season to begin with.
Yeah. If they don't, the NFL is missing out.
Yeah, that's going to be a great
and it needs to be in Philly, obviously.
There's going to be a lot of reunions this year. We were talking earlier about just the amount of getting used to new faces or same faces, new places, but you could set that up early in week 1.
Oh yeah. All right. I really want to do our mock draft, and I know it's not in this. So I feel like we've been going and going. We don't have a guest. Is there anything else you want to touch on before we get to TikToks?
No, I'm good.
Because I said, I'm kind of boycotting the Cowboys right now, so I'm not even going to talk about them.
It's just birds versus blank.
Birds versus Stephen Jones.
Yeah. Cowboys it's boys versus boys. Like, it's a civil war.
Cowboys Twitter right now is just burying Stephen Jones, and I'm all here for it.
Yeah, it's great. I now that I get it, following the Birds vs. Boys Twitter account, so I see what goes on your Twitter account. It's great. I feel more sane now. I thought it was just us in Philly who did this stuff, but no, it makes me feel comforted. Didn't
you see Randy Gregory saying how toxic the Cowboys fan base is?
Yes, that I was like, come on, the Cowboys fans are mad that he left, but I feel like a lot of the anger for that was geared at the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, So did you hear the final story from Jerry Jones this week when he talked to the owners?
Was it the final story or was it Jerry Jones'
Yeah,
version of
El Paso. But I got the insider from Bobby Belt, who knows everything and everybody, says that phone call did happen. It lasted about an hour. And that
between Jerry and
it was
the
only
agent?
Jerry Jones, Randy, and Randy's agent. Randy and his agent were at the airport with the private plane waiting. And Randy wanted to come back to Dallas still. And he said, I want to stay here, this and that. We can work it out. And then apparently it didn't work. And he literally hung up the phone, got on the plane, and flew to Denver.
No,
and that was
way.
that.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That's unreal. So he was like on the tarmac.
Literally.
So you're having him came down to a flight plan.
Yep.
Wow.
Literally. And Jerry Jones, I don't know, apparently said no. But now, now the Cowboys are spinning it like, well, we got 3 for 1. Shut the fuck up.
No.
We got Dante Fowler.
On his third team in 3 years.
Yeah. Leighton Vander Esch.
Not really an addition.
No. It's, they're putting, I said it last week, they're putting way too many eggs in the Dan Quinn basket. I love Dan Quinn. I'm so happy he's back. But, really? And now, this now puts the Cowboys in the, are they going to take a pass rusher first round? They have so many holes, and they added pass rusher to it.
Yeah. I was about to say, at the end of the playoffs, you're like, all right, if we just sign these guys, here's our holes to fix. And then they were like, okay, let's add 2 more holes by not re-signing Randy Gregory and trading Amari Cooper. So now we have more holes on top of the ones we already had.
And just flat out releasing Lyle Collins.
That too. Yep. Yeah. So the offensive line didn't improve. They got rid of one guy. The wide receiver core was the strength no longer. And then also,
and that's, and we'll re-sign the guy that's coming off a calf injury and a torn ACL, who's going to apparently miss 2 to 3 weeks to start the season. And I wouldn't doubt if that stretches out to about 5 weeks.
6. Because, well, you know how it always goes. You have to be on the physically unable to perform list right away, or you have to wait 6 weeks.
Yeah.
They might have changed it, right? It's 3 weeks now?
I think it's 3.
All right. Well, that makes it way better than 6. That rule makes so much more sense for 3 instead of 6.
So we'll see. I mean, they're going to be trotting out there CeeDee Lamb, James Washington, and Noah Brown, and maybe a receiver that they draft this year.
We'll see.
I mean, there's still wide receivers out there too in free agency. Odell Beckham sitting out there, Jarvis Landry.
I can see Jarvis.
Do you want the Eagles, before we go to the TikToks, to dabble in the free agent wide receiver market? I know they got Pascal, but would you want them to talk to a Jarvis Landry, a trade for Devontae Parker, Odell Beckham?
Trade for Devontae Parker, yes. I don't think it would take a lot to get him, and I think he'd be a great wide receiver opposite of Devontae Smith, who's got that big body. I think he's always a reliable guy. He's always that guy in fantasy. I'm like, all right, I have 6 people on bye this week. How'd that even happen? Yep. But I'll take Devontae Parker on a flyer, and I'm like, all right, yeah, he got me 7 receptions for 74 yards.
I'll take it.
Yeah, I'd be in on him. At this point, I would not spend money though. I would not spend considerable money. Just every freaking guy they send out of Ohio State is just incredible. Just go for Garrett Wilson, go for Chris Olave, get the other kid next year from Ohio State.
He's
I refuse to pronounce his name on here so we don't get canceled. Jackson Smith
and Jigba.
Yep. I just leave it at Jackson Smith.
Yeah, he's a freak. But I agree. I don't think they need to.
No, it's I think a lot of people have talked about this, but just the rise of the wide receiver era. There are so many kids coming out of college that are just productive right away in the NFL, which makes it more remarkable than we ended up with Jalen Reagor. But all right, it's okay. But it's just really deep classes. You look at Quez Watkins, I think could be a really solid wide receiver 3 for this team.
Yep.
You got him in the 6th round. So there's a lot of depth.
And the wide receiver position is ballooning, obviously, with these guys making quarterback money now. So you have to hit on young receivers that are going to perform on rookie contracts, whether it be first round for 5 years or four years. You need it. because
it's crazy.
especially if you're paying a quarterback already.
That's why I'm not sure about spending all this money on these big time wide receivers who could be, you're at the end of the contract may not be in their prime anymore. I feel like it'd be better to just, draft a guy and take that chance because there's so many that are productive right away.
And it's almost sort of kind of following the running back position.
Yes.
Where you can find a running back in the draft all the time. And now it's just almost the same thing with these wide receivers.
I think it's the year-round football effect. So, like if you're not playing football in the fall, you're playing 7-on-7s. And what happens in 7-on-7? You're playing receiver.
Exactly.
It's like all these kids are becoming reliable pass catchers because all they're doing for 365 days.
Yep. Well, all we do for 365 is talk football and do TikToks. So let's bring Vince in here for our TikTok of the night. Hopefully we're not going to get yelled at by 12-year-olds too much on this one, but I have a feeling we might.
We might. All right, Vince, welcome in. Tonight, like we mentioned before, we are doing, in honor and the spirit of Colin Cowherd, ranking the NFC East quarterbacks. Are you guys ready?
I think so.
We're going to do a little bit different. We're going to do a reverse triangle. We're going to let Vince have all the power and go first. Vince, at 4, who do you have?
At 4, I have Davis Webb. I think the dude's a stud for the Giants. I think if anyone on that team can get that team a win, I think it's Davis Webb.
Okay, not Jake Fromm. 4 for me, it is Carson Wentz, Aiden's boy, in Washington. I think he's bottom of the barrel, the starting caliber quarterbacks in the NFC East. Welcome back to the NFC East. Can't wait to see you, Carson.
At 4, I have Tyrod Taylor of the Giants. I think he's been a reliable starter and a bridge to an actual franchise quarterback for plenty of teams, unless they stab him in the lung. But he is a pretty solid above average quarterback and always is a good veteran presence until you get your franchise guy.
3 for me, I have Gardner Minshew. Do I really need to explain it? The guy's he's the truth. He's a starting caliber quarterback that is a backup.
3 for me, it's Jalen Hurts. He's having his second full year starting this year. His legs are an absolute weapon. If he fine-tunes his passing game a little bit, gets a few more weapons around him, I think he could be a problem for the rest of the NFC East, and I think he could lead this Eagles team. I don't think he's a Super Bowl caliber winning quarterback, but he's a starter in this league.
Nick Foles wasn't either.
Worked out in the end. At 3, I have Jalen Hurts as well. I thought that was a solid showing from him this past season. Solid dual threat. We need to see a little bit more in terms of accuracy, but also we need to see a little bit more in terms of getting him some weapons. So let's see if he takes that next step, and if they take that next step in putting weapons around him for him to succeed.
2, I have Derek Carr. I know he's not in the NFC East, but doesn't feel like he kind of should be. Like, once the Raiders wise up, can you see him anywhere but Washington? He feels like a Washington quarterback.
2 for me, it's Gardner Minshew. He should be the starter for the Eagles, even though Jalen Hurts is a starter. The dude is out there in bomber jackets. He looks like Maverick after he won that game against the Jets. And then in the offseason, he's got the samurai sword. The dude's just an absolute freak. He's got the jorts going. Give me Gardner Minshew. Actually, don't give me Gardner Minshew because I don't want to have to deal with him being a Cowboys fan.
At 2, I have Dak Prescott. Solid, like above average quarterback, nothing special. Pretty much the Kirk Cousins of the NFC East. A stat patter. You could call him the Tobias Harris of the NFL, where you look up and you're like, oh, his stats are that. Oh, I didn't realize they were that good. But again, he lost by a touchdown. So no clutch moments in his career to speak of. Got outplayed by Jimmy G in a playoff game. I think it's just process of elimination. He's just better than the other quarterbacks because they're not very good. But again, just like another version of Kirk Cousins.
At 1, I have Dak Prescott and Jalen Hurts. Like Aiden said, both very passable quarterbacks that are average in the league, very Kirk Cousins-esque, can get the job done. Good enough quarterbacks to win you football games. I don't think he could be complaining about either one.
1 for me, it's Dak Prescott. Don't listen to the rest of these clowns. Not saying he's a top 5 quarterback, but he's a top 10 quarterback in this league. He has many clutch moments. I believe he has the most fourth quarter drive wins since he came in the league in 2016 as a starter.
I'm sure a bunch of those came in the playoffs.
That's not just his problem. That's the Cowboys organization is a problem. That's Jerry Jones is a problem. It's the black cloud of the curse of Jerry Jones's estranged daughter. That is the problem.
So it's not the quarterback's fault. It's Jerry Jones' estranged daughter. And the ranking of blame, you're putting the estranged daughter over Dak Prescott.
Cowboys last Super Bowl in 1995. This daughter that Jerry Jones has been hiding was born in 1995. That's all I'm going to say.
You know who wasn't born in 1995?
You.
Yep.
All right. At 1, I have, who else could it be? Carson Wentz. The NFC East should be pretty afraid that he is back in the NFC East. Even if you get the 2019 version of Carson, he's better than any other quarterback in this division. Jim Irsay doesn't know football at all. He is a moron who shouldn't run a football team. They should force him to sell the team. I think Carson will do phenomenal things where he actually has a wide receiver 1 in Terry McLaurin. You saw the last time he had a wide receiver 1 with Alshon Jeffrey, how good he was. This is a guy who threw for over 4,000 yards, and his top receiver was Greg Ward. So give him actual weapons. He will be fantastic. At number 1, I have the only reasonable answer, Carson Wentz.
Question.
Yes.
If I buy you a Carson Wentz Washington jersey and tickets to the game, will you go to the link, sit in a Carson Wentz Commanders jersey, and cheer for him during the game?
How much do I get paid?
No, you get the free ticket and the jersey.
No,
maybe a beer.
I don't think it'd be fun.
Wait. Content. Ready? If the Cowboys and Eagles play before Washington comes to the link, we'll make some kind of Cowboys-Eagles bet depending on how the season's going. It could be
I'm not wearing Carson Wentz jersey in that stadium.
No. We can decide what happens if you lose. If Aidan loses, he has to do that.
That I kind of like.
Mm-hmm.
That I could do. I agree to that bet. You have to remind me in 6 months, but I agree.
I'm in.
All right.
I'm in.
This will be
yawning. I'm in.
I could die. I could legitimately die. You guys are not. Listen, I'm on cloud 9 tonight. I just feel alive for the first time, and now you're signing me up for death. It's so short-lived. I felt happiness for 30 seconds, and you guys are nope. Back. Let's find a way to screw this guy over.
That weird red is going to completely wash him out. It's not your color.
They should just change their maroon color to his hair color.
Yeah,
like the exact. They should match. You know, like in whenever you're making something on your phone, you can like match the exact color that's in the picture. That's what they should do.
Like an Oklahoma State color.
Yes.
Yeah.
Huh? All right.
And just want to, I'm smart enough now to know to cut that stuff you said about Jim Irsay so we don't get taken down for bullying and harassment again.
I forgot about that. You might want to pull out what I said earlier where I said even more stuff than calling him a moron.
YouTube's the Wild West. It flies there. Just can't put it on TikTok.
I don't know. It might be bad there too.
All right.
Stuff might get taken down on YouTube.
That is true. Aidan is a blurry king right now.
Am I?
Yeah.
Oh man.
You're like slow. Oh, there he is.
What do I pay Comcast for? Honestly, I should. If I'm getting taken down for bullying again, it's going to be a corporation like Comcast.
You're paying Comcast just so they could build more buildings. That's it.
And yeah, they don't even use the second one. The pandemic hit, and they're like, all right, well now everybody works from home. It's just an empty tower
with the Four Seasons in it.
Yes, pretty much. That's it.
All right, take us out of here, and let's do our mock draft and let everybody know where they can watch that.
All right, follow us, Birds vs. Boys pod on YouTube. Same with Twitter and same with TikTok. Follow it anywhere. Obviously, we cut the clips for TikTok. We've been posting a lot of good content from the Twitter account, and then the YouTube is going to be the biggest thing for this next month because you kind of need to visually follow along so you know what we're talking about with watching these prospects. So we will be doing the Birds vs. Boys mock draft 1.0 coming up on the YouTube here soon. And then we will be doing a lot of player breakdowns from now until the draft. So follow us there, follow us everywhere, listen to us anywhere you can, leave 5 stars, pat us on the back, tell us how amazing we are, Give us a hug if you see us in the street. Anything you can do to support us, we appreciate you. And we will see you next time for more Birds vs. Boys and draft content.
And maybe next week I will actually talk about the Cowboys.
We'll see if you're still in the boycott.
Chris Hansen here, and I'm going to need you all to take a seat right over there and check out Birds vs. Boys.
I think you're completely right here, and I hate it.
Hey, idiots. Stop doing dumb things.
I got 2 phones.
Upside alert. Upside alert. I might go insane.
I think you're already there. There's no hope. Hope is gone.
If this was an AFC North podcast, we'd be done in 15 minutes.
Bob Hope.
I'm going to drink bleach. That
Be
it?
the team you promised me you were going to be this year.
This is the Consciously Hopeful podcast.
I'll be watching.